Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and
Colleen.
Yay! Episode 20.
Yeah.
Woo! So exciting.
It is exciting.
It's a big one.
Thanks
it's like a milestone.
It's totally a milestone. I feel like we'll get into it, but we have a milestone kind of approach to how we're doing this episode too.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned a few minutes. Yeah, we have an exciting episode. It's a well-known story, but we'll get into it in a few minutes.
We have things to talk about first.
Yeah, we have a little bit of reality TV check-ins, which I hope you're up to date with The Valley.
I think I am. I'm not a huge The Valley fan.
Okay, I'm not either, but I can't stop watching it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like one of the ones where I'm like, I can be a couple episodes behind and like catch up on.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't know if I'm totally up to date, but tell me anyways.
Well, going back to like not being a fan, I feel like I'm not super into it because it's almost a little depressing.
It's so dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's weird because it's drama like in every other reality show, but it's like it's married couples that hate each other that have like little kids. And it's almost like, it's like depressing.
I felt that way with like New Jersey for a long time. Like I couldn't watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey because it's like so much family stuff that it was like, I don't feel like I should be watching this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of, because I was watching the show and then the after show. And yeah, so I don't know how caught up you are, but like Jax is like, just like the fact that he has a platform still is like, it's a little shocking because he's super abusive.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's bad.
Like I feel like the last one that I watched, and I don't know like what episode it was, but he was like watching Brittany in their house with their like security cameras while he was supposed to be in rehab.
I think that might have been the last one or the second to last one. I can't remember because they kind of blur together for me right now. But it's like, but watching him like talk like a complete lie and then her saying that totally opposite thing, it's almost a little scary.
Yeah.
Well, it is scary.
It's totally scary. Yeah, no, I mean, he is such a manipulator and like, I feel like he almost like fooled us as viewers for a long time too, because like everybody was just like, oh, now that he's with Brittany, he's a family guy and like all this stuff. And then it's like, come to find out nothing really changed.
Like he's not changing.
Yeah.
And I feel like he uses a lot of the therapy words as like to get away with stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, oh my God, his voice is just so fake when he's like explaining things. It drives me crazy.
He definitely uses those like buzzwords though to be like, I'm like really into this, like I'm really into the healing, but like truthfully it's like, no, you just picked up the vocabulary.
Yeah, he'll be like, no, something's wrong with my brain, it's my mental health. And I don't know if he's been diagnosed, to be honest, but yeah. But so another thing, I don't know how you feel about Jesse and Michelle.
Are they, Nia is the one that's like ex Miss America or something, right? Okay, yeah. That is rough.
So Michelle keeps comparing, I think it might have been the last episode, but she's like, I'm not getting the same kind of like support from the girls as Brittany is, and I'm going through the same thing, if not worse. And she's like, Jesse's so much worse than Jack. I was like, girl, no, he's not. Like, have you seen the show? Like he's a douchebag, but he's not like on that level. Yeah. Like sociopath.
Yeah. Like one of the reasons I don't really like enjoy watching the show, but like the fact that like they have a daughter together, and like even in season 1, like she explained their relationship as like a one night stand that she can't get out of.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I'm like,
no, that's not a way to explain. And then it's bad.
Unless you're like in on the joke, you know what I mean? Like, because I think that there are some couples that like they'll like roast each other or whatever, and that's like their playfulness. Yeah. But like, unless the other person is in on the joke, it's not funny.
I feel like they like legitimately like hate each other.
They hate each other.
Which is just like so sad.
It's like uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know why. I feel like because it's on, I have to watch it, but I'm always
Mhm.
like, I don't love watching it. Like, why do I do this to myself?
Okay, so then where do you stand on what's her name? Janet?
Oh, I don't like Janet.
Everybody hates her, and
Yeah. Do you like her?
I don't know if I hate her as much as everybody else does. I think she's a shitster for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that she's a shitster because she's calling people out on their shit. You know
I
what I
will
mean?
say in the last episode, because she does irritate me, but with Jasmine, like I feel like she was calling out Jasmine on what she did, and she's like, "You said it," and she's like, "Whatever." Like she didn't want to talk about it. I was
Mhm.
like, "Okay." Like that I get.
Yeah. Also, she has the hottest husband though, like by far.
Her husband is really handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of all of them. Wait.
So
Yeah,
like she
none of them are good looking. I was like, wait, who else is there?
I mean, I guess yeah, he doesn't really have like competition, but
Yeah.
like so there can't be like all that much wrong with her. Like he seems pretty stable. So
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like he does seem that way. So she can't be that bad. But I don't know, she's still irritating.
yeah. But it's just funny because I see all the things and like people hate her. And I'm like, I don't like her, but
Mhm.
she doesn't get under my skin the way that.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
she gets under like 95% of Americans.
Okay, sorry, part of the 5%.
Colleen's like, she's all right.
Listen,
But-
tell it how it is.
Yeah. But anyway, that was my 7 minutes of Bravo talk. That's all I've been up to. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Well, the only other exciting announcement I have is I'm now an aunt of 2.
Oh, yeah.
I meant-
So exciting.
I said that as if it wasn't like super exciting. I'm thrilled. I
You
absolutely.
sounded excited.
Okay.
It was
Like
an
the only other
announcement.
news I have is like life came into my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my sister had another baby. He's
Mhm.
happy and healthy, and I haven't actually like physically met him yet,
Mhm.
but seen pictures, and he's so tiny and so cute, and like seeing him with my other nephew is just really exciting. So
Is your other nephew excited?
he is, yeah.
Aw.
And it's funny because like she sent a picture, and I don't know if my sister wants me to say their names, so I'm just gonna say my nephew number 1 met
Yeah.
nephew number 2, and nephew number 1 looked very just like friend or foe kind of thing in the picture. Yeah, and it was very cute. But then there were like a ton of other pictures where he's holding him, and like yeah, it's really really sweet.
Cute.
And he knew, you know, obviously another baby's coming
Mhm.
into his world and stuff, but they're only
Yeah.
3 years apart, so same distance of like me and my brother are only 3 years apart, and we're
Yeah.
super close. So I imagine they're probably going to be,
Oh, yeah. No,
you
I
know,
feel like that's
attached.
close.
Yeah, they're going to be
Mhm.
attached at the hip. For
Yeah.
sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, very exciting. So congratulations, Katie.
Congrats, Katie. And you've also went whale watching again.
Oh, I did, but it was
I feel
pretty.
like your life is exciting right now.
I did, but our whale watching was pretty. We go a lot like that. Like we love doing like trips and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But this time we didn't really. We saw a ton of dolphins, so sounding ungrateful for the experience that we had. We were super grateful for the experience. Like we were out on the boat for like 8 hours. We saw tons of dolphins and like
Mhm.
different types of dolphins. So it's really cool seeing the bottlenose ones because they're like bigger dolphins,
Mhm.
and they like come up and like play right next to the boat.
Aw,
We
so
were
cute.
It was really cute. And I feel like I've learned to like not focus on taking pictures as much, like
And just be in the experience.
just be in the moment.
Yeah.
So like you know, and we were trying to see blue whales. That was the trip that we went on, and we didn't see any. But the boat line, I don't know what you call it, the boat that we rented through, they basically are like, well, because you guys didn't get to see blue whales, we're giving you like a free trip to
Mhm.
come back until you can see blue whales. So
What? That's
yeah.
cool.
we did see a fin whale, which was really exciting.
I don't know what that is.
They're very like long, like sleek looking
Mhm.
whales, but they're not like tooth whale whales or anything like that. Like, and they just kind of like chill at the surface. But he
Hmm.
did do kind of like a turn for us, so we got to see a little whale
a little wave.
Yeah,
It's so cute.
yeah. So it was really really
seems
fun.
like you saw a lot. That
Yeah,
sounds
and
fun.
we've been so lucky in most of our trips that
Mhm.
like having one where we didn't see exactly what we wanted to see, we're like, geez, like it's about time kind of thing. Like we just like
the time has come.
Yeah, like we ran our luck. Like we've had a pretty good run here, you know.
But you got to see some cute little dolphins.
We sure
and
did.
Other types of whales.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
it was very fun. Yeah. But all
Cool.
right, should we talk about what we're covering?
Yes.
So we're taking a little bit of a different approach to this episode to celebrate episode 20.
Mhm.
And normally Taylor and I don't tell each other what our stories are, but this time we know exactly what they were.
Yeah.
So we are going to cover Lizzie Borden, and I'm going to go first. I'm going to talk about the murder,
Mhm.
and then Taylor is going to
talk about the spooky shit.
That's right. All right, Taylor, I have got something to tell you. So, this story takes place in the late 1800s in Fall River, Massachusetts. And Fall River is alive with energy. The town has just started to boom because it's taken off with all of these like new factories being built. And there's a ton of money to be made. So the town is just like thriving right now. But there are very like stark contrasts because all of this new money is coming in, but also there's like established like the working force.
Mm-hmm.
So there's stark contrasts in like living situations. So what they have is what is called on the hill, which is where the wealthiest families live in these like sprawling Victorian like fancy ass mansions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's called down in the flats, which is more towards the mills and the factory. And that's where like life is humbler. There's just kind of like simple homes. The homes function, but they ain't fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is where we go into the Borden family.
Mm-hmm.
So they are right in the middle, but not because they have to be. Andrew Borden is the family patriarch, and he was rich. Like, if he had the money that he had back then now, he would be worth millions.
Dang.
So, but if you walked into their house, you'd never guess it because Andrew was notoriously frugal, and he was so cheap that it was almost like a personality trait for him.
Cheap.
Yeah. Well, he refused to move the family up the hill, which he probably could have easily afforded with the money that he had. But instead, they stayed in a very modest home, and they had no indoor plumbing, no central heating, and absolutely no modern comforts. So
Jeez.
he did this by choice, though.
It's like, come on.
Yeah. And so you'd think with all that money, he'd splurge a little, but nope. Andrew was all about saving, and it didn't make him the most popular guy. Also in town, he was, again, notoriously known for, like, being cheap. So, like, he would try and, like, talk his way out of, like, paying for things and, like, stuff like that. So he wasn't very
That's
popular.
annoying.
Yeah. Not very popular in town, but also not very popular with his family because no indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
Like, gross.
Like, why?
Like, why?
Like,
I
can't be
mean,
that
like, I
much.
feel like that's not a splurge. That's a necessity. Like, if
Yeah.
you had the choice.
You guys want to go to the bathroom? That's a privilege. They're like, go out to the forest.
Have you ever heard the song by Lil Dicky, Save That Money?
Mm-mm.
Okay, listen to it.
Would
It's
that
this
have been
guy-
his theme song?
Yeah. So-
Andrew reincarnated.
Totally. Well, it's so funny because the whole song is like all about like saving money or whatever, like being super cheap. But then I love Lil Dicky. The whole music video is him trying to get stuff for free to make the music video. So he'll be like he's knocking on like rich people's front doors, like, can we use your house to like film this
Okay,
music
that
video?
literally sounds like Andrew Borden.
Yeah.
I think it is him reincarnated.
It's great. Okay, so Andrew's all about saving that money. He's not popular in town or in his own house. But let's talk about the rest of the family. The Bordens have issues, for sure. So Andrew's second wife, Abby, has been with the family for decades. They've been married for a while, but she still felt like an outsider. She married Andrew after the death of his first wife. And while she really tried to be a good stepmother, nothing really clicked with the family. She never really fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew also had two daughters, Lizzie and Emma, and they did not like Abby. And Lizzie specifically resented her, like felt like she replaced her mom, even though her mom had passed away. Like she always felt like this. You're
She was
not
trying to fill a spot or something.
Exactly. Like you're never going to be my mom.
Yeah.
To the point where Lizzie wouldn't even call Abby mother. She called her Mrs. Borden. And for the 1800s specifically, was basically like calling her like by her first name and like eye rolling. Like if I called my mom Deborah,
she'd be like, what did you
just say to me? So the tension wasn't just about personalities. Emma and Lizzie were convinced Abby was trying to get Andrew to leave the money to Abby's family. So not the Borden daughters. And to make matters worse, Andrew actually did buy a house for one of Abby's sisters up on the hill, the fancy neighborhood.
No,
and so the girls, you sure did. And so the girls were pissed.
As they should be.
But also the girls were like, they would come up with these stories that like Abby was trying to poison them so that she could get Andrew's money. Like,
so they were like a little unhinged.
They were a little unhinged, yeah. But I mean, who's to know?
I guess we'll find.
But so let's talk about Lizzie specifically. So Lizzie is 32 years old, which I found fascinating because whenever I hear this story, I always imagine her being so young. She's 32.
Yeah, because you kind of think about like, they're talking about their daughters that like live there still, you'd think a little younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like nothing against people living at home.
Oh, no, for sure.
But we were thinking like.
I was thinking like 14, 15.
Yeah.
32 threw me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But so Lizzie is 32 years old. She is unmarried and still living at home, which honestly actually wasn't that unusual for the time. The whole goal for women was to like marry into a family. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that.
So for her to be 32 and unmarried and still living at home, obviously if she was married, it wouldn't be as unusual. But if you were unmarried, it's not that weird to be still at home.
At your parents' house.
Yeah. But it did add some stress. Her staying at home did add some stress to the family dynamic because her dad certainly thought at this point that he would have been able to marry off one of his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
So Lizzie is also known around town as a bit of a socialite. She likes to go out and party a little bit. Good for you at 32.
Go Lizzie.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have that in me still. So she also teaches Sunday school. She attends church regularly and is active in the Women's Christian Temperance Union. So on the surface, she was definitely picture perfect of like a well-behaved, proper young woman.
Mm-hmm.
But behind closed doors, Lizzie is known to have a very sharp tongue and wasn't afraid to speak her mind, especially to Abby. Yeah, she does not hide her hate for Abby.
It doesn't sound like it.
So the two women were like oil and water, and their relationship had been rough and growing weaker for years. So by the summer of 1892, they would barely speak to each other. Lizzie would avoid meals with Abby, but I think that's also going back to she thinks she's being poisoned. So, I mean,
so she really believed she was.
She really believed it,
Oh,
and like
okay.
the family would often get sick, and they talk. in the research that I did, they talk about that this might have actually been because of Andrew being so cheap that he would buy like old meat
Oh
versus
my
like new
God.
meat. So, but the girls thought it was Abby trying to poison them, but people were like, well, it might be that.
It's like really the dad's poisoning them on accident.
I was going to say the amount of meat talk we have had on this
I know,
podcast.
that's enough. So much meat.
It's too much meat. But yeah, so she builds it up in her mind that Abby's trying to poison her. But again, it's the dad being cheap, probably. But anyway, so they live under the same roof, but they kind of like live separate lives. And then Emma, she is older than Lizzie, and she was definitely quieter, more reserved, and very protective of Lizzie. Because the mom had died at a young age, Emma had practically raised Lizzie, and the two sisters were incredibly close. So if Lizzie didn't like Abby, you better believe Emma didn't like Abby. Which I was like, good for you.
I
like,
know.
support.
Love that. Stick together.
Yeah. It's like us when like I'm like, I don't like this person. And you're like, well, I like them.
Yeah. Well, I don't like them more.
You're like, don't even need to explain. We hate them together.
Say no more.
Yeah. So yeah, the vibes in the Borden household were not great. So we have Andrew, who is the cheapskate. We've got Abby, the stepmother, who's not exactly loved. Emma, who's the quiet but loyal older sister. And Lizzie, the fiery, headstrong younger daughter, who's not shy about her feelings. And then there is one more thing to add to the tension. We have Bridget Sullivan, who is the family maid, and she is an Irish immigrant who worked for the Bordens and lived in their house. But she hated her job, and she hated the Bordens.
She's like, I hate that they're so cheap.
Literally, though. So obviously, like, she's viewing, like, all of this, like, family tension and stuff, and then probably Andrew is, like, underpaying her, and then...
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
that's
so
right.
She's super unhappy as well. So all of this, the tension, resentment, unspoken grudges, it's all coming to a boil, and it sure did on August 4th, 1892. So inside the Borden house, the day began like so many others. Andrew Borden, the ever-routine man, was up early. He went about his usual errands, stopping by the bank, the post office downtown. And then Abby, his wife, was upstairs tidying the guest room. They had just had one of their uncles stay over, so she was cleaning up the guest room after he stayed. He didn't seem important to me, so we're getting to the murder real quick in this one. Bridget, the maid, was out in the yard grumbling to herself.
I feel that.
Because it's all so hot. It's like it's summer months, so she's like, I hate everything, and now I'm hot. And she's washing the windows. Like I said, she hated her job, hated the house, hated the Bordens. Emma had gone out because she had gotten news that one of her friends was sick, so she was going to visit them. And then Lizzie was in the house, but no one could exactly say what she was doing. Lizzie says that she had been in the barn, actually, looking for fishing sinkers. So, like, what you put on the end of a fishing line. And we'll get to that part later.
Very specific.
Yeah. But for now, the house was quiet. Andrew returned home around 10:30 a.m., just like he always did. He walked through the front door, set his hat down, and settled into his favorite spot on the couch in the sitting room. Abby, meanwhile, was upstairs, fluffing pillows and arranging the bed for cleaning up after the guest who had stayed there the night before, the uncle. And then it happened. No one saw it, no one heard it, but sometime between the morning chores and the early afternoon, the simmering tension in the Borden house finally boiled over, and it exploded in violence. So, why we bring up Bridget? Bridget was the first one to hear the scream. She hears, "Someone's killed my father," and it was Lizzie's voice. And so Bridget dropped what she was doing and ran inside, and what she saw, she says, will haunt her for the rest of her life. Andrew Borden is slumped on the couch. His head is tilted back. You can see these pictures online too, just so you know.
I've seen them.
Okay.
And they're rough.
I watched a movie with Christina Ricci about this, and they show the face like multiple times. I'm like, we get it. Like, you can stop. But his head is tilted back. His face is unrecognizable. He had been hit 11 times with a hatchet. The blows were so violent that one of his eyes had been split clean in half.
Ugh.
I know. Blood was pooling beneath him, soaking to the couch and dripping onto the floor. Bridget was frozen in shock and she was unable to move. She was panicking, freaking out, shaking, and Lizzie was just standing there. Lizzie turns to Bridget and tells her to go get help, but with like absolutely no urgency. Mm-hmm. Like she just goes, go get help.
Yeah.
She's very like detached in the moment. But the police arrived really quickly because Fall River, like I said, is a small town. The news of the murder spreads like immediately. So just as soon as the police are there, there's already people outside the house. Mm-hmm. They're gathering outside, whispering and speculating. And the officers step inside to the Borden house. At first, their focus is entirely on Andrew because the scene in the sitting room is so horrifying that some of them can't even keep it together and they run out of the house to throw up.
I probably would too.
Yeah. But it doesn't stop there. As they search the rest of the house, one officer makes his way upstairs to the guest bedroom, and that's when they find Abby. She's lying face down on the floor. Her body is cold to the touch. She is surrounded by blood and her head is bashed in. She's been struck 19 times with a hatchet, and the force of the blows were so brutal that the back of her skull is shattered. Which again,
it's insane.
It's insane. Like so much violence.
Yeah, because isn't like the skull supposed to be like, that's like hard to do.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing to like shatter a skull.
Yeah.
But it's also clear that she's been dead for hours and much longer than Andrew.
Interesting.
I get into why that's important later.
Ooh.
So 2 murders have happened in broad daylight in the same house. And the police are stunned. They are like, how could something so brutal, so unimaginably violent happen in the middle of the day with no one seeing or hearing a thing? Mm-hmm. And the other thing is there's absolutely no sign of a break-in. So whoever did this didn't force their way inside. They were already there. So Bridget, like I said, had been outside grumbling under her breath, washing the windows.
Talking shit.
Probably feels bad now. But people had seen her outside during like the time frame.
So she had an alibi.
Yeah. And so the only other person that was in the house is Lizzie. Mm-hmm. So the officers turn to Lizzie and she is acting really odd. She's standing really quietly in the sitting room just across from where her dad had been murdered. And her dress is clean. Her hair is perfectly in place. She's very calm, but they describe it as like almost too calm. Like, I know that they talk a lot about how people are supposed to react because like you'll hear like fake 911 calls and some people will be like, that sounds so fake to me. But I'm like, I don't know how I would like.
It almost sounds like calm, not calm, like shock.
Yeah.
Because that's like, because people can be like quiet.
Yeah, that's
shocked.
true. That's a good point.
It sounds like she's more just like indifferent, kind of.
Yes, indifferent is a good word to explain it. Thank you. Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks. Pat on the back.
So they ask Lizzie where she had been during the murders, and Lizzie doesn't hesitate. She immediately says, I was in the barn. I was looking for fishing sinkers. I also thought it was interesting because she had said that she ate 3 pears while in the barn.
Ate 3 what?
3 pears? Like a pear.
Oh!
I was like,
I thought you meant like a pair of something. I was like, a pair of what?
No. A singular pair, but 3 of them. I was like, that seems like a lot of fruit.
It does, and it's really specific, and it like she's like, I have my wait, you got my alibi down. I had
Yeah.
3 pairs and I was looking for fishing
Yep.
sinkers.
Somebody's got to talk to those pairs. Um,
They're witnesses.
yeah. Well, she says that she's planning ahead because she's supposed to be taking a fishing trip with her sister and her friend, but like in a few weeks. So that's why she's looking for the fishing stuff.
hmm
I just didn't know why she was very specific that she had 3 pairs.
She worked up an appetite.
Yeah. So the police go to look at the barn, and the barn is super dusty and dirty. I mean, like anybody's outdoor shed would
Yeah.
be, but because it's like dusty, they go in and they look and it's completely undisturbed. Like you could like if you walked into it, you would clearly see footsteps or that somebody had been in there recently, but like there's a thin layer of dirt on the ground that had like nobody had been in there.
Oh.
Which I was like, ooh, Scooby-Doo right there. Look for those footsteps. So Lizzie's story didn't make sense to them, but she didn't seem nervous. She continued to answer their questions without hesitation, and her voice was very steady and controlled. And however, Bridget is freaking out, shaking, struggling to speak, but Lizzie's almost like sitting with her hands like folded nicely, like in front of her, like kind of like dainty, where like Bridget's like, what the fuck? Like murder just happened. Yeah.
She's like, calm the fuck down, Bridget.
Yeah. But they describe her like calmness in the whole situation as very unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
So officers continue their investigation. So they're looking for like whatever explanation that they possibly can for what happened this day.
Mm-hmm.
And they begin to hear whispers about something strange that happened just a few days after the murders. So one of Lizzie's friends stopped by to check on how Lizzie was doing, you know, as you do when your friend's parents get murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And while the friend was at Lizzie's house, she saw Lizzie standing by the stove in the kitchen, and Lizzie was burning a dress. When the friend asked her, why, Lizzie? Why? Why, Lizzie?
Why are you doing that?
She just shrugged and said that the dress had been stained with paint and it wasn't worth keeping. But it turns out that this dress that Lizzie was burning was the same dress that Lizzie was wearing on the day that her parents were murdered, and that the investigators had looked at, which they did look at the dress and they didn't see any blood on it that day,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't mean that
they might have been like preoccupied.
Exactly. So by now, the town of Fall River is just enthralled with this murder case. Some people can't believe Lizzie would be capable of such violence because they've already like identified her as like the key person that they're investigating.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't think that she could be capable of such violence. She was well known in town. Remember, she's a socialite.
Mm-hmm.
She was also respected for her charity work and deeply involved in her church. You know, she's a good Christian woman. There's no way she could have done this.
No way.
No way.
She goes to church.
Yeah. We know that's not true. Others weren't so sure. They knew about the tension in the Borden household. Like it wasn't like a hidden secret.
Mm-hmm.
They had heard the stories about how Lizzie hated Abby, how she refused to call her mother, and how she avoided any interaction with her in the house. They couldn't ignore also that Lizzie was acting super strange after the murders, her calmness. She had an inconsistent alibi, and then she burned the dress. So people were like, maybe she finally snapped. But the police were running out of options. They had no signs of forced entry. They had no witnesses. They had no evidence pointing to an outsider. So everything kept leading them back to Lizzie. So on August 11th, 1892, just 1 week after the murders, Lizzie Borden was arrested and charged with the murders of her father and stepmother. When the officers came to arrest her, Lizzie didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't protest. She simply said, I am innocent. The arrest sent shockwaves through Fall River. Again, good Christian woman. How could a woman, especially a wealthy, unmarried Christian woman, commit such a brutal act? I don't know why unmarried is in there.
They're like, but she's unmarried.
Yeah. If she
How
had
could she?
But if she had a man, she could do it.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. So many people believed that Lizzie was being framed and that the police were just desperate to pin the crime on someone. So they just wanted to get to the bottom of it. And they were like, well, she's an easy target. We're just going to blame her.
Mm-hmm.
Others, on the other hand, were convinced she had just finally gotten rid of the stepmother that she hated so much. But the theory that quickly gained traction revolved around one thing: money, especially inheritance. So, as I stated, Andrew was wealthy and worth, again, millions by today's standards. But despite his fortune, he had rarely spent a cent on his family. And Lizzie and Emma had spent their entire lives living under this like man that would not put any money into them when they fully knew he could. And then obviously Lizzie's feelings towards Abby were well known. She didn't just dislike Abby, she despised her. And then Lizzie and Emma were also convinced that Abby was trying to secure Andrew's fortune for Abby's side of the family. And then it all came to a huge boiling point when Andrew had bought that house for Abby's sister.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all of these things are coming up. And then here's where the motive becomes even clearer. Under Massachusetts law at the time, if Andrew died first, his wealth would automatically pass to his wife, Abby. So Lizzie, if Andrew had died first, Abby would have automatically gotten all the money, or it would have been passed to her family.
Oh.
So Lizzie and Emma wouldn't have gotten anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if Abby died first, this situation changed entirely. So if she was out of the picture, Andrew's wealth would go directly to his daughters when he passed. So this did not go unnoticed by Lizzie. So the theory is that why the murders happened in the order that they did is Abby was killed upstairs in the guest bedroom, struck 19 times with a hatchet, and that by the time Andrew returned home, Abby was already dead, meaning we got Abby out of the picture. She died first. So now she can go and kill Andrew because we've wiped Abby's family getting out of getting the money. And then now I can get rid of the dad because now I just want the money.
Yeah.
So
wild.
Yeah. So this is the theory that they stick with and the motive that they stick with when they go to trial. So the trial of Lizzie Borden began on June 5th, 1893, and quickly became one of the most sensational cases in American history. Just like so many we hear about in small towns, people were packing the courtroom. Everybody was showing up to see what drama would unfold. This was Bravo before Bravo existed.
Bravo in the 1800s.
Yeah. So the prosecution was led by District Attorney, I'm not going to get this name right, Hoshea Knowlton. And they argued that Lizzie killed for money. They painted a picture of deep resentment towards her stepmother and highlighted the inheritance motive, just like we talked about. So if Abby had died first, Andrew's wealth would go directly to Lizzie and Emma. And the evidence that they included in their case was the burned dress, with the witness that testified that Lizzie burned a dress days after the murder, claiming it was stained with paint. The prosecution argued it was blood. There was a hatchet found in the basement that was suspected to be the murder weapon, although there was no blood or fingerprints tied to it, which I don't think that they can get fingerprints in the 1800s.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they had like a different way of doing it.
Just like a piece of tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just have you like put your finger behind the tape and they're like, does it match up?
Does it match? You got out of this one.
You got away with it this time. And then obviously Lizzie's alibi wasn't matching up. She claimed she was in the barn eating pears and looking for fishing sinkers, but the barn's dusty floor showed no footprints. And where are the pears at? Come on.
She ate them.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be a core. You don't eat.
Oh, that's true.
What kind of garbage person
She's
are
like,
you?
she was like, I was really hungry.
Devouring a whole pear, core and all.
Just like sliding it down.
Oh my god. Okay, so prosecution says that
I clearly don't eat a lot of pears.
it's like an apple. There's got to be a core. Is this another hotel situation?
Don't bring But yes, it is.
After this, I want to see Taylor eat a pear. We'll record it for the Instagram.
I die. I just choke on it.
Oh my.
Okay, this got dark.
Okay, sorry.
Let's move on.
Moving on. Okay, so then, as we know, the prosecution is arguing that Lizzie killed Abby and then Andrew to secure the money. Now, the defense, who is led by former Massachusetts Governor George Robinson, thank you for having an easy name, focused on Lizzie's character. So they would argue that she was too kind or charitable of a person and was incapable of such violence. The points that they included that there were no witnesses, no one saw Lizzie commit the murders or heard anything unusual. There was no physical evidence. Where are the pears again? Just kidding. But that the hatchet had no blood and there was no concrete evidence tying Lizzie to the crime. And then they also played into like societal expectations. So they, again, trying to go off of her character, played into the idea of like, why would a wealthy, devout Christian woman possibly commit such a heinous act?
Mm-hmm.
Not adding up for me.
Yeah.
Defense. So after a 2-week trial and just 90 minutes of deliberation, do you want to guess when she was found or do you know?
I don't know.
She was found not guilty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the courtroom erupts because some people are cheering, others are crying, absolutely stunned, like they feel like she clearly did this.
Mm-hmm.
However, Lizzie remained calm, unshaken, and just walked out of the courtroom.
She's got that down.
Yeah, so despite her acquittal, Lizzie was certainly ostracized from Fall River. She and Emma decided to buy a house on the hill. They bought themselves a large mansion because they did
take that.
Yeah, they did get the money, and they lived the rest of their lives together. However, Lizzie really was more of a shut-in. People would go to her house, knock on her door. They would also sing a nursery rhyme that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
But to this day, the case remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. Did Lizzie Borden take an axe, give her mother 40 whacks? When she saw what she had done, did she give her father 41?
I say she did.
But yeah, that is the story of Lizzie Borden.
That was a good one. I purposely skipped the history when I was researching the paranormal one because I kind of wanted to hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
Thanks.
But let's take a quick break and then we'll get into the paranormal stuff.
The spooky shit.
The spooky shit. And we're back from our break. And I'm going to get into the spooky shit.
It's kind of cool going first because now I just get to relax.
I kind of felt that way too. I was like, I get to relax in the beginning and just listen. Okay. So, the Lizzie Borden house, as Colleen just got done telling, was filled with gruesome and tragic murders, so why wouldn't it be haunted?
Mm-hmm.
Guests who stay at the Lizzie Borden house have captured photos of strange anomalies floating by their beds, noises coming from inside wardrobes. Hate that. Footsteps, laughter. And so in this one, they say like that of Lizzie's the morning of the murders. So I don't know. Did you read anything about that?
There was something about her coming down the stairs, like Bridget coming in and because this is such a historical crime, there's like kind of different depictions of it. But there was one where like Bridget comes in or her father comes in and sees Lizzie at the top of the stairs and she's coming down laughing.
Oh, okay.
So
that's where that's from.
Yeah.
I forgot about that till I was reading it right now. And some have even reported being touched by an unseen hand while they slept. So you can actually sleep at the Lizzie Borden house.
I know.
You can ghost hunt there for $35.
I know.
Letting you know.
Well, so I was listening to two girls who did this story too, and they did it from the Lizzie Borden house.
What?
I know.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Well, do you want to go to Massachusetts?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against Massachusetts. I'm just saying, like,
I do.
On a random Saturday.
Let's go. So Andrew Borden is said to haunt his room. Visitors leave monetary gifts before entering to appease his spirit.
It's like the dolls.
What dolls? Wait, I forgot. They at Hanny's?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
But do you think it's because he was so cheap?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's because he was obsessed with money, saving money. They called him a penny pincher.
I'm going to get you to listen to Save That Money because
I'm going to listen to it after this now. So if you do leave money there, he apparently won't bother you while you're sleeping. So maybe you won't feel the hands on you while you're sleeping. At least it won't be Andrew's. There's plenty of other people.
Gross.
Yeah. I know. Abby Borden is said to wander the house. She's said to be looking like she's doing chores. She's mostly seen in the second floor hallway or the guest bedroom. Huh?
Sorry. I was like, that would make sense because that's where she got killed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And like I said, I didn't read anything in the beginning because I was like, I kind of wanted it to still be a little bit of a surprise for myself. But cool. Visitors sleeping in that room have felt the bed sheets tighten around them, then hear brushing as if hands slide across the covers with a slight pressure against the chest and legs. They think it's like Abby meticulously straightening the fabric. You know how you do when you're like making a bed, which that's creepy. So Lizzie Borden is said to be heard crying around the same time every night, according to the housekeepers that stay there. One night, one of the housekeepers fell asleep in the main parlor after cleaning the house all day, and she woke up at 3 a.m., kind of like confused and looking around in the light. It was like really dimly lit around the room when she saw movement near the grand staircase. Pressed against the wall was an odd shadow stretched all the way across the stairs, and she watched it slowly walk up the stairs, like kind of like swaying a little bit. And the housekeeper thought it was Lizzie going up the stairs to see her stepmother, where she killed her. It's also said to be haunted by two children. Like people will hear like laughter and stuff, and I've heard that people leave stuff for kids. So I don't know if you saw this, but there were two kids that were also murdered next door by another Borden relative, like years and years before, named Eliza Borden. Did you see that or no?
No, but it sounds like vaguely familiar now.
You probably skimmed it or something because it was like, it's not really a part of the story, but it's part of the hauntings. Like they appear a lot, but I guess Eliza.
Are you saying I didn't do my research?
I did not say that. So she actually killed her kids, threw them down a well, and then killed herself. And then her husband killed himself too, like 8 months later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, not funny. I don't know why I laugh.
It's nervous laughter.
It is. So guests of the now Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast leave small toys for the ghost children in the guest rooms and claim that they hear children's laughter and sounds of play on the second and third floors of the B&B.
It's a BBB. Borden bed and breakfast.
Third floors of the Triple B. There's also a woman that haunts the basement, and it's said to be Eliza Borden. And some speculate that she's trapped in the basement, which I don't know why she would be trapped in the basement, but that's what they say. Okay.
Bring it up with they if you have a problem.
Take it up with they. Anyway, her reflection has been captured in numerous photos, and guests have said they feel a female presence down there. Oh, and so the US Ghost Adventure, that's the name of the company that owns the Lizzie Borden house. And so they actually have a website where people leave their hauntings and photos and videos. So I wanted to read a few of them. And then for people that want to actually see the photos and videos, you can go to their website. So
The only way to get to their website, though, is to drop us a 5-star before you do that.
yeah, 5-star on all streaming platforms.
Otherwise, you can't get there.
It's like the secret password.
Yeah, it's blocked.
So the first one from Vicky and Emily on July 8th, 2022, when they stayed, it says, 2 guests staying at the Lizzie Borden house in Fall River, Massachusetts, had a chilling, unexplainable experience. Before the nightly ghost hunt, Vicky and her daughter Emily from Pennsylvania were exploring the first floor of the house when a closet door unlatched and slowly began to open by itself just after the lights went out on the guests. And the video is on the website.
Of that happening?
Yeah. Because
What?
they have cameras set up, I think, because they do the ghost hunting so they could capture everything. So yeah, we could watch it if you want.
I don't, but I like knowing that it's out there.
You're like, I know there's proof, but I don't need to watch it. Okay?
Yeah. That's just crazy.
I know. It's scary.
Did you watch it?
I didn't. I want to. I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of it. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I was just busy writing my story, so I was like, I'll get back to this.
I was going to be like, what are you, a wuss?
I'm going to play it right now while you're stuck in the room.
I'm by the door, okay?
Yeah, but you'd have to like move your entire setup and
Yeah,
get through the
that's
whole
true.
video. Okay, anyway.
Sorry.
Next submission, Aaron Kilby on October 17th, 2022. It says, "This is truly one of the most chilling pieces of evidence we have ever received from a guest. Aaron was in the basement on the extended part of the house tour in October 2022 when these photos were snapped. Shortly before this, Aaron remembers feeling very cold upstairs while getting spikes on his EMF detector. The photos are unedited, and you can see Aaron's reflection taking the photo. However, one features an eerie reflection of what appears to be a woman. This coincides with the many reports of guests and staff who have also felt the presence of a woman in the basement, but nothing this discernible has ever been captured before." So it's like a photo of a woman, and you can see his reflection taking the picture. Like you can see the color of his shirt and stuff. And then there's another reflection of a woman in like 1800s type wear. And it's like not in the picture. So it's really creepy.
Did you
It
look
gave me goosebumps.
Did you look at it?
I did.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Oh!
I thought you saw it.
What the fuck? No, that's scary, Taylor.
You asked.
Oh, and it's like all like her face is like white.
When Colleen asked to see evidence, like, I'm not even gonna think twice about it. I'm gonna make her see it because she never wants to see it.
Ew, that's so scary.
I know. It's very creepy.
She looks like a black and white, like,
Photograph.
portrait, but
Yeah.
like real life.
Yeah, that's a great way to explain it because that's what I thought too. It's like she looks
Spooky.
from the 1800s.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just got to go look at the website.
Yeah, it's worth a look-see.
Yeah.
Oh, ew, that. I wasn't expecting that.
Really?
Oh,
What were you expecting?
I don't know. But it literally
You were
looks
probably
like,
expecting it to be like super fake.
I
Maybe.
wasn't expecting, like, I think the thing that I guess caught me off guard is like it looks like a black and white person.
Mm-hmm.
Like an old-timey,
It does.
you know? And it's not like old-timey in the dress. Like if somebody came out of a black and white like silent film and was standing behind you.
Not the silent film. It's even scarier.
That's what I mean. I've created a whole narrative.
I know. You're really good at explaining. You don't even need to go look at the picture. Colleen just explained it in great detail.
Okay. I have like ringing in my ears now because I'm scared.
What?
I don't know.
Do you get ringing in your ears when you're scared?
It's just like,
It's like your alarm bell's going
yeah,
off.
that's what it feels like, but like in my brain.
I love that. Your Colleen sirens are going off. They're like, don't look danger. It's like, you should know not to do this.
We've had 34 years of training against what you just did.
You just got like real brave for a second.
Yeah, that's why my ears are ringing.
So I got one last submission from Boyd. His name's Boyd.
Ooh, I like that name.
March 18th, 2024. So Boyd stayed at the Lizzie Borden house in March 2024 and left with a truly unexplainable experience. He arrived a bit earlier than the other guests and had a few hours in the house alone. In that time, he greeted the spirits of the house and invited them in to communicate with him if they felt so inclined. After settling in for a quiet night of reading, he stepped outside and bumped into some other guests that were just arriving and invited them in to come see his room. And upon entering his room, he notices a doll that had not been there before was now laying face down on his bed.
Independent doll.
Right? He thanked the children for wanting to play with him and put the doll back where it belonged in the room neighboring his. So it wasn't even from his room.
Gross.
I know, I don't like haunted dolls. We'll talk about Annabelle one time.
Is that
one day.
a real thing?
Yeah. The Annabelle doll, that's like related to like the Conjuring house, which I'm gonna tell. I already started writing. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that.
I didn't know that was like a real.
Yeah. She's like in a glass case. Like they don't open it because like it's like supposedly like a demon's like attached to it.
Well, yeah, they made like 7 movies about it.
Mm-hmm. She's real.
Burn it. Get rid of it.
There was like recently like a a rumor going around about Annabelle. Like I looked it up though, it's fake. Like they were saying like that they were like moving her from the museum to somewhere else and she somehow got like taken and like she was like missing and everyone's like, oh no, like they're gonna open the case. But it wasn't a real rumor. But I was just like, where did that come from? That would be terrifying.
Ew, like, do you think that they like the movers that they have like move the doll? Like, do they tell them what it is?
Probably. I would think so.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't, and like then I would just like watching them question like why is this doll so?
I think she was in a if I'm remembering right, like she's in like a museum with other scary artifacts that are supposedly like
that would make
possessed,
sense.
which
Cool.
We should go.
No. I was just going to say, keep them all in one central location so that we can avoid it at all costs. Ew, or else they like create like a possessed army together.
That is true.
Like it's like imagine like Night at the Museum, but it's that
museum. And it only takes one crazy person to go, come let them all loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should stay away.
Yeah. I was like, are you that person?
Plot twist. It's me.
You open your closet door right now, they all just come out.
Like, hey guys, I have a really good idea for our next like podcast.
I have a few guests that are coming.
A few guest stars. What if you just like came to my house and I had them all set up in little chairs like around?
Ew. Ew, Seb has that one demon doll in his office.
Ew. I know, I don't remember what those are called, but it's those bears.
I hate it.
I hate it too. It has star eyes, which makes it 10 times creepier.
It just keeps moving all the time.
I know. He likes to look out the window. But anyway, okay. Thank you everyone for listening. And I hope you enjoyed our episode 20. Let us know what you thought about it.
Yeah, remember to go rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. You know, I think I've shared before, but when I started talking to people about having an interest in true crime, I was surprised by like how many of my friends also had an interest
Mhm.
and we had just never talked about it.
Yeah.
So use this as a platform to
Yeah.
have those conversations and send us your
And
stories.
yeah, and like, yeah, because you might exchange some scary stories, but we want to hear them too.
Yeah.
So
Tell
send
them
them
to
in.
us.
And Colleen can drop the email.
Email is igsttystories@gmail.com. And then you
Mhm.
can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at IGSTTYpod. And
Mhm.
if you want to drop your stories as a comment or DM us on any of those platforms, we'll take that too.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Just, yeah.
Just send them in.
Just send them in. What are you waiting for?
Do it.
What else do we have to do?
You got time for us. Well, thanks for listening.
Later.